Hi guys, it's Shantele here. So I'm using mostly, well actually all of the stuff is from my stash, so I'm so excited. So I'm just showing you some of the things that I'd like to use on this layout of my little goober here. This is a school photo, so I did think about using all the papers like this, so just showing you guys all the ones from my stash. I know some of them are from Amy Tan. This big one actually is from the Dear Lizzie. It's called Striped Straws from the Polka Dot Party. And then when I flipped it over, I love this blue one. I know I've used it before, but I don't mind using it again because I'm sure it's been quite a while since I've used it, since it is an older collection. So right now I'm just deciding how I want everything to go, where I want it to lay down. And I know I pretty much want it to lay like that, so I know I just keep fudgeting here around deciding where I want it to go, what else I want to put on it, and this is definitely how I would like it to go. So I'm coming in with some scrap paper here. I'm going to actually outline all of the papers that I picked out. I am using an 05 Royal Lang Nickel Nano Liner pen. Try saying that 5 times fast. I had picked up a pack of these actually at HomeSense. I love how they're actually drawing pens, but I love how dark or bright the black is, if that makes sense. So that is what I'm doing right now. And I don't even care if my lines are straight or not, because sometimes they don't always work that way, but if you did care, you could always use a ruler, but it doesn't bother me. I like it when it's a little wonky and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I was going through my stash. I was actually going to use my click kit, and I was just happening to look for another color, and then I came across all these papers, and then I figured, why not just do a layout from all my stash my scrap papers. And I knew I wanted to do that more, so I love how it turns out. It's kind of crazy, but oh, it's pretty. So yeah, right now I'm just deciding how I want my papers to go down. Then I'm going to come back in and glue them all down. My ATG gun here actually has the photo safe glue on it, so that's why I use it. I don't always use it, I just use it if I know I'm going to be putting down a photo so it doesn't wreck in time. And then the rest of the time I just use my glue runner here. And then I completely goofed up, and oh my goodness, it just totally tears my paper. You'll see that. I was like, maybe I can leave it, and I'm like, no, it's not straight enough. I don't want it that far over. I want it in more. See? Oh, that glue. Sometimes it's forgiving, and then sometimes it's not. So, I think it depends on the paper, too. I don't know. Oh, well. So, you'll see a lot that I really had no plan, which makes it even more funner to do things like that. And it took me about 46 minutes to do this layout. It wasn't exactly done in one day. I actually did it in 2 days. You'll see me go from no sleeves to wearing a sweater because it will be the next day. I had so many interruptions, it was crazy. So right now I'm just cutting out this globe. I happen to have found it in my scrap bin, and I figured that is perfect because if you look in the background of Asher's little photo here, there is a picture of the globe, and his school photo this year. It was really pretty. I really liked. There was all kinds. There were so many pictures to choose from. It was crazy, but this one was by far my favorite one. So at first I did think I wanted to use it in the right corner, but you'll see as time goes on it gets moved quite a bit, so that's okay. And I do apologize if you hear any yelling in the background. My little one is downstairs 2 rooms away from me, and he's pretty noisy right now. So I am using some foam just to pop up the globe just a little bit. This foam I actually picked up at Dollar Tree. It's just a little bit of thickness, not too much. That's why I like using it. And then this card mat, or oh, there's another term, I can't think of what it is, but the math little card there, I figured that was perfect because he's going into grade 1 and it is school theme. It just seemed to work out, which was awesome. I am going to pull out my pen again and then do lines around it as well, just to make it look like the rest of the layout here. So now that that's done, I am going to cut out a couple of these, what were they, Insta photo kind of frames, if I remember correctly. I knew I wanted to use 2 of them. I wanted to use the mint and actually the orange one. For this layout, that orange color I was definitely feeling. For this layout, I don't know, I was on an orange kick, sorry, a yellowy kick, a yellow kick, I guess you could say. So I am coming in with the stamp set that I had originally pulled to use in this layout. It is a Studio Calico stamp set. I had gotten this years and years ago when I was still a part of their kit. I know they probably don't make it anymore, but I use it so much for school stuff. It's got everything that you need. So right now I'm stamping down the paper. I knew I wanted to use that because it just thought it would be a cute, fun embellishment, homemade embellishment. I'm also going to come in, it also in the stamp set had a little saying, it says from the desk of. I thought that was really stinking cute. The ink that I'm actually using is from Your Next Stamp. It is called the Black Olive. I love this ink. It is such a nice, rich black. If you're interested in it, you can get it at yournextstamp.com, or you can actually get it at, I know Simon Says Stamp sells some of their products too. So there it is. And then I knew I wanted to write his name, so I'm gonna disappear for a little bit here. I hadn't pulled out originally another alpha stamp that I wanted to use, but I do find one. I have some in my stash here. Yeah, so I ran away. Do apologize. I should have trimmed this down a bit. And there we go. These are actually from Technique Tuesday. I've had them quite a while in my stash. They are called Handwritten. I just absolutely love the font. At first when I was looking at them, I was like, oh, maybe they're going to be a little too big. But then I decided, you know what, in grade 1, do the kids ever write like the size that they're supposed to? I know they learn to, but they never really do. So I figured, you know what, I'm just going to go with it. It's going to work and it'll be fine. So the ink that I had pulled out is also from my stash. It is called Summer Starfruit. It is by Stampin' Up. I'm not 100% sure if they still make it. I used to be a demonstrator, but that was quite a while ago. And there we go. It looks so cute. So I'm going to trim that out. Oh man, iMovie's given me a run for my money, so I do apologize. I've done this so many times, voiced over this, and all of a sudden it just stops working. It's driving me bonkers. Anyways, so I laid them down next to each other. I thought that's where I wanted them to go, but then I realized one is much brighter than the other, and then I knew that would irritate me, so I fuss around with this. So this is actually the next day. I am deciding I'm going to do my title right now. At first I did want to use one of these black thickers, but then I decided, you know what, I really like these white ones, these are ones that are actually called Kitten. They're chipboard. I just preferred them a lot better. The white ones with the black linings around them, I thought that would much better with this layout. And then I come to the realization that I have no ease. I didn't really look at this quite well of what my title was going to be. And with chipboard, it is really hard to make a letter work for you. So I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Fine, I guess it just means I will have to use those other thickers that I pulled out. So these ones I've had in my stash for many years. I know that for a fact. So they are called leg warmers, and they are felt. And I figured this font was perfect for first grade because it's kind of kid-like. To me, it made sense. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my wax paper here to do my title because I know it makes it easier to decide if that's where I want things to go before you actually glue things down. So yeah, that is what I'm doing here, and then I realize I don't like it. It just, ugh. Anyway, so I'm getting frustrated here. So then I wanted to do just to write out one using those fonts as well. Didn't work out. But then I found another pack in my stash. I was so excited. That's why you saw me do a happy dance. So then I pulled that other one away from there, and then I knew this is the one I wanted to use for sure. So I'm just trimming down my wax paper, and then I'm going to spell out grade 1 again, and I'm so excited because it is the thickers that I originally wanted to use. So I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad I had to. At least this time. Might not work next time, right? So yeah, from my first one I'm just pulling all the letters that I know I have, and then going into my second pack, and then obviously pulling off 2 E's. Then I'm going to decide where I want it. I knew I wanted it up at the corner there, but I wasn't sure exactly where I wanted it to go. Yeah, see, I fuss with that, and then I'm like, I just didn't like them together. So I'm going to come in with my Thickers line guide ruler. I know there's probably a fancier title for what it's called. I love this thing. Although it is a little bit harder to work with chip alpha, but if you play with it lots, you end up getting a hack for it. So I knew I wanted it to go about, I love this thing, there, so there we go. And off it gets. And then coming back in with the 1, I just love this ruler. It makes life so much easier for your titles and stuff like that. And I know they've come out with more rulers, which I'll think I might have to order or go and buy some. I know my local scrapbooking store has them. Just gotta get out and do that. So here's where I'm going to fuss around with how I want my embellishments to go on this layout. I think I have an idea. I thought I wanted to keep that globe in the corner there, and I just find it doesn't work. I move that up there and end up liking where it is. Excuse me. Then I am deciding, do I want one of those frames? And I do like how the mint green pops out from that paper there. And I had pulled out this, I can't remember what paper this is again. Seems like once it's in my stash, I forget what it is. But anyways, there was a couple things I wanted to use on there. There was this little awkward, or not awkward, but little circle. Well, it's not quite a circle, but a wonky circle. And it just says, just be you. And I knew I wanted to use some kind of positive words on this layout. But I just, for the life of me, just couldn't get it to work. So I'm going to try and cut out another one. And I'm just like, you know what? It's not going, it just doesn't look right in my mind. It just doesn't seem to be doing what I want it to do. So yeah, you're gonna see me fuss around, and I end up moving that, and it's like right away I love where that card is and where the globe is. It just works perfectly. And then I keep moving that circle around because I was just like, I want it to work so bad, but I just couldn't figure out where it would make sense in my mind. So anyways, you'll see me bring it back in here after, before I finally decide, you know what, I'm done. So I'm going to try a different frame thing, and then I decide, nope, it just didn't pop enough. So I am going to stick with that green one, and I'm going to finally commit. I like how that looks. I'm also going to decide that that globe and the card will work perfectly, but one more time I'm going to try to add something. Oh, it just did not work. See, I bring back in that circle. Maybe it'll work here. No, I'm just like, you know what, forget it. It's just not happening. I'm just not feeling it. I'm done. So I'm going to glue those down because I know I like the look that they are giving off, if that makes sense. So now I'm gluing down my globe there. And then I'm coming in with these Tim Holtz stickers, which they are called Small Talk. So I'm just going through it and trying to find some positive words for, grade 1. So the first one I laid down is do your best. The second one I have here is choose to shine. And then it takes forever. There was a lot of good ones, but just didn't seem to fit what I wanted them to say. So as I'm going through, it's actually the very last one in this sticker sheet book, sorry, and all it says is remember to play, and I think that is just absolutely fitting for grade 1 because, they're still little. They need to still have fun while they are learning and stuff like that, so I'll end up finding it here, don't you worry. There it is. So I knew I wanted 3 little things. I end up putting that one right there. Perfect. And then as I'm sitting there thinking, you know what, I want to use enamel dots. So I will end up pulling out my white enamel dots. And at first I thought, you know what, I wanted to use little hearts or something on these little sayings that I just laid down, or little sentences, whatever you want to say that they are. But I didn't have any hearts. I think I had 2 of them left. So I decided I want to use these matte ones, and then there's also these clear ones, but I didn't know which would look good. So I test them out here. Clear just seemed to kind of get lost, and the matte ones I definitely liked. So I go with the matte ones. The matte ones I got from Your Next Stamp. You can pick them up at their website if you want them. And yeah, that pretty much finishes out my layout here. So if you guys have any questions, leave them down below. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!